Okay, Georgia, let's have a look at your book. Well, that's a decent bit of title page. I haven't seen many of them yet. Very nice detailed bit of drawing there. Maybe possibly get a little bit of shadow under there to let it sit on something, and a little bit dark up there. Just to finish that one off. Good range of patterns there. A little bit of title. Because you're about to draw with patterns. And there is the drawing of patterns. So again, I'd fill in this little bit around here where it's dark and get a little bit of shadow underneath, and possibly describing what you're doing, drawing with patterns. Some title there would be very good. Now, yes, chalk pastels. So I'm thinking possibly a little bit more to kind of resolve what's going on with those leaves around there. They're looking a little bit like that edge. It's always the edges with the pastel. That edge could do with sharpening up just a little bit. Maybe some more detail on the leaves, perhaps different kind of green. And then maybe also other edges here too could do with a little bit of work. That's working a treat though. And a lot of this is working really, really nicely too. So a little bit of refinement and that one's going to be good. Okay, photographs. I think good to have them all in, and it'd be nice to have some indication of perhaps which ones you prefer. That's a particularly vibrant one down there. Maybe having a fold out with maybe two that you've chosen, and something to say perhaps why you've chosen them, because we're looking even at this early stage for something where you're indicating a little bit of sense of preference, a sense of opinion, and the beginnings of developing ideas. So, choosing two large ones would be to start to be a bit of an indication of where you might want to go. Nice big Daniel Gordon study, well done. Possibly, if you're going to push it a little bit further, you've got some nice sharp green in there. Not that you want the whole thing like that, but maybe there needs to be a little bit of raising up of the colour here and there, or the edges, or something. Just a little bit of clarity, something like that. It might need uh, just a little bit of a workover just to finish that one off. Really, really like this piece. I think that's just genius, just fantastic. So maybe again like an A1, not A1, getting carried away, an A4 picture on a fold out of one of these images. Emily was a bit of a key one because of the layering in her prints. So I'd make sure this is kind of finished off as best you can, and that the separate layers are maybe a little bit more visible in your study. And you're talking about separate layers because that's kind of why she was in there. Yep, yep, kind of like that as a response. Got some pictures too. Let's just tidy that up, finish that off. Maybe some of these could be printed up A4 on separate sheets. And there it is, straight away. Maybe yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good. Okay, so what else we got here? Um, go down there and where that's from. Quite there's something. There's an idea hatching there. Maybe there's little bit of a mind map down there to see where it's going to go. Yeah, and then we're on to the print. Now the print was kind of felt slightly hit and miss. You had some good beginnings, and it sort of almost got there, but I didn't quite get the impression that you felt satisfied with it. So I'm thinking that this is one area that you could revisit. It could be that you actually work directly on top of a paintbrush or a pen, or it could be that you try a different printing technique. One way or the other, these feel a little bit kind of like they didn't quite work out how you'd like them to be. And so maybe a revisit. I think a lot of people could do with a little revisit on the with the printing. Okay, Polka. Super Polka. What do you make of him? In here, the planning it's a good idea to have what the outcome was when you were making the planning. So an image of the outcome there would be very useful. Possibly on a fold out again. Making the titling a little bit clearer. I mean, even on here, I can hardly see what it is, but a little bit clearer on there, and maybe another little mind map down there. Just thinking, well, okay, what could I use the iPad for? What was the sort of good things, bad things, and so on, and why did it feel the way it did? And you've covered some of that in here, but maybe a mind map just to say, well, what if, like on the previous page, what if you were to do to kind of go further into that digital synthetic sort of feel, what would it be like? Okay, slightly unresolved. I like it. I think it's terrific. Maybe there's some other aspect that needs to kind of come in. Maybe it's a background. Maybe it needs some other elements, maybe some text. I'm not sure, but there's something about the development here which just isn't quite kicking in. It feels like it could go a little bit further. It feels like it's sort of getting to be confident, but it's not like you're really playing with it in a fluent sort of way where you're really enjoying it. Got to kind of work out why that is. Maybe this is where it needs more questions as to what it could be like. And so we've got some more experiments. We jump straight from this into some of the loose pages or looser pages. So I'm wondering whether this could be an area that needs things to be moving about a little bit. This is rather a jolt to suddenly come in here. So we're kind of back to where we are. I wonder whether these photographs actually got misplaced or they were loose in your book. Anyway, back to Florent Tanit. Yeah, very nice and a fantastic experiment. I saw your title now a little bit a little bit more clarity on that. But fantastic experiments. These pages were great. Yeah. Finish this, absolutely. It's so delicate. It's made in layers as well, as I'm sure you know. We need to know who it is and how it was made. It's a woodblock print, separate layers, separate kind of compositional elements as well. For example, the diagonals coming down heavy, and then very quite high contrast, sort of dark areas, and then quite light areas. So there's an awful lot going on compositionally here. I think it's worth spending the time to give it a real good study and then to write it up. Simple titles here would be useful. Simple explanations. Continuing on the theme, I think it's great. It'd be nice to have a sort of final outcome that might actually be one of these images. If they're a kind of decent resolution, it could be that it's a sort of, it comes out on an A2 sheet and you've got maybe 4 or 5 of them. It could be interesting how that turns out, or arrange them in a certain way. It's about Irving Penn, Penn. Yeah, have a think about that one. Yep, different medium, and then we're into a whole different kind of slant of things. This is a whole bunch of new stuff opening up. Very interesting that it's gone this way, and I think that it needs to go further that way. It seems like it's something you've picked up on, and so I would suggest that this is one area that you could look into in more detail. Possibly even studying some more kind of traditional Chinese, Japanese brushwork, artwork, calligraphy, and so on, and some of the more contemporary Chinese artists that sort of play on the idea of that tradition. There's more to be had from these pages, I think. So we're looking at drawing styles, and so I would very much get into demonstrating how different they are. And this is quite a kind of bit where the book falls a little bit empty. I feel like you haven't quite given that a go. And I think it's very important too, because you're demonstrating that you really are experimenting. You're trying a wide range of things, a really wide range of different possibilities there. And you also got the opportunity to think about kind of understanding perhaps why one person does one thing and another does another. And you've also got the opportunity there to demonstrate that you're using the full potential of the materials and techniques that you've got at your disposal, and you've got you're kind of sustained in your examination of different drawing techniques and the concepts behind the drawing techniques, the intentions behind the drawing techniques. I think this is a few pages where you could extend the breadth of what you're covering. I thought the dissection project, the way you handled that was really, really good. You got the opportunity there to do a colour study. It would be good to see some more colour studies. There was it was paint specifically, and also with some oil paint. So I'd actually put that as quite high priority, that you want to be using mixing colour, exploring colour in that way. The Da Vinci pages, yeah, there's a few little gaps there. I feel like he's filling in a little bit more. The photographs from the dissection project are up. I think he did a great job of that, and the actual images that you took and that were taken are there too. So I'm feeling a little bit like there's some gaps in there. I didn't see the abstract work where you'd tried out different abstract designs in response to music. So you do have one or two gaps, although what you have is really good quality, although what you have is very individual and very kind of personalized. You do have some gaps there, and it's very important to fill those in so that you're covering all the ground. You've really extended the range of things that you've got to do. Now, we had 36 odd hours homework last year, and I know that you've done a fair bit, but there needs to be more. And to catch up now, you're going to have to do regular bit of solid work at home. I think it will pay off. You've got the potential to do very well at this GCSE, and certainly to be thinking of it as an option later on. So I would make sure that all those little loose ends are tied up really substantially. I'll put a link into the course information that's online, so you can see everything that we've done. Pretty much, it's all up there, and just check that you've got it all in the book.